This is very dramatic. John was out shopping with his wife when he had what doctors call sudden cardiac arrest. It's so sudden you have only a small chance of survival. As you can see, John did survive, and he's allowed us to show you what happened. In the next 5 minutes, you'll see someone being brought back to life. Talk about teamwork. Ambulance crew Elisa Musselwhite and Stacey Smith are heading to an emergency after a 999 call from a busy high street. A man has collapsed by a shop. They're trained to expect and deal with all kinds of traumatic events. It turns out this is one of the most serious. They arrived to find a team of police, an off-duty doctor and a first aider from a local supermarket trying to resuscitate a man who is flat out on the pavement.
As we pulled up, there were a number of people performing CPR on the gentleman, so we immediately thought, this looks like a cardiac arrest.
John Ellsworth's heart has stopped functioning properly and is failing to pump blood around his body. Police community support officers Daniel Banks and Katie Ridd were two of the first to help John when he collapsed.
Once we turned John over, we started looking for signs of life, and he wasn't breathing, and we couldn't find a pulse.
We realised he was purple from his head all the way down to his neck. And I was straight on the radio asking for an ambulance urgently.
The only way to get the heart working again is by electrical shock. In the meantime, they have to take over the heart's job. Pumping hard on his chest is keeping the blood moving around his body.
Obviously, at that point, things are so serious that you realise you have to do this, and if it doesn't happen, there's nothing worse that could go wrong, because the guy's already dead.
Fortunately, first aider Jill Grubb already has experience of doing this.
You do have to be really full on with it. You know that you've got to be quite violent about it, and I have been told that you do have to almost break the ribs with the pressures. You just go for it. You just do it.
Elisa immediately gets a portable defibrillator ready. It's the essential piece of equipment that John needs to survive.
Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button. Shock delivered. Pause.
A VF arrest is when the heart quivers and it's sending off loads of mixed signals. It's basically in chaos. When you administer a shock, it basically stuns and stops everything happening for a while, and so then the heart can hopefully get back to its proper rhythm that it should be in.
Stacey administers oxygen and makes sure that John's airway is clear.
Start CPR.
The defibrillator doesn't only give shocks, it also analyses John's heart to let the team know what to do next. It advises more CPR, which means John's heart is still not working.
When you're initially there and you're doing the compressions, you think the ambulance will turn up in a minute, they'll sort everything out. When they arrived and started doing the more serious stuff and weren't getting a response, it was definitely very scary.
This is an extraordinary team effort. Now Daniel takes his turn at applying CPR. Kate counts out loud to help him deliver the correct amount of compressions.
Stay clear of patient.
It's time for another shock.
Advised. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button. Shock delivered. Pause.
Again?
Start CPR.
When they weren't getting any response, I was starting to sort of clutch at straws and think, come on, we've got to get you out of here. We've done so much, you can sort of make it through. And we were all sort of on edge.
Elisa knows that if the shocks don't work soon, John's only chance will be the cardiac team at the hospital.
You start to sort of weigh up after the first 2 shocks that we'd done hadn't worked. You start sort of thinking of the situation you're in. We're really close to the hospital where it happened. They've got more equipment, a lot better facilities to deal with things like this.
The defibrillator advises another shock.
Shock delivered.
Although all the rescuers remain calm, they're desperately hoping that this one will bring John back to life.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On the 3rd time, I could see the pulse coming down sort of his neck.
They've done it. John's heart is beating again.
it's lovely when it does work, and we could tell he had a pulse in his neck. You could see that beating quite strongly even without feeling it. It was really good.
The machine's automatic voice confirms John's heart is beating on its own.
Analyzing heart rhythm. No shock advised. It is safe to touch the patient. Check for signs of circulation.
It's a huge relief, but the team still have to work fast to get John to the safety of the hospital.
He's still in danger, really, because we don't know what's caused him to have the cardiac arrest.
1, 2, 3.
Another team, Ernie Hatcher and Duncan Wild, have turned up in time to help get John into the ambulance, where they'll continue their efforts to keep John alive. After the chest compressions and 3 electric shocks from a defibrillator, John's heart has started to beat again, and they've moved him into the ambulance.
It's actually quite spontaneously.
Yeah.
They've inserted a tube into his mouth to remove excess fluid, and they can now check all his vital signs. They're being helped by Ernie Hatcher and Duncan Wild, who've arrived in a second ambulance.
Now approximately 50, VF arrest. Now has output and spontaneous breathing. GCS-free, ETA about 2 to 3 minutes.
Although John is now breathing, he's far from out of the woods yet. His condition is still critical. Duncan wastes no time setting off for the hospital. By now, the team have information from John's wife about his medical history.
We think he's about 62, suffers from angina. Got another blood pressure that's quite good, 136/92.
Ernie and Lisa are trying to get some kind of reaction from John.
John, can you squeeze my colleague's hand? John, open your eyes for me.
He does respond. The team are delighted.
Yeah, good boy, open your eyes, open one eye.
Well done, John. Well done. On the way to the hospital, John. We'll soon get you there.
The cardiac hospital emergency team are standing by, hoping John's made it this far.
Breathing and outputted. Awesome, guys.
The resus team quickly swing into action.
If we get an ECG first off, that would be amazing, please, thanks.
Stacey and Ernie watch on, hoping that John will continue to recover.
Any medical problems?
Only angina.
Okay.
Don't know anything else.
You could do, that'd be brilliant, yeah.
Please bring in his wife back.
John, can you open your eyes, please? Hello, John. Hello. 62-year-old chap from shopping in Shirley had a semi-witless collapse. Bystander CPR initially, and then arrival of crew confirmed arrest. VF shot 3 times, return of spontaneous circulation and respiration, and came to us spontaneously breathing, saturations of 100% on oxygen, heart rate of 100, BP good, 160 systolic.
The next few hours will be critical for John, but he can be sure that the swift action of the ambulance teams and members of the public at the scene have given him the best possible chance of surviving his cardiac arrest. Yeah, what an extraordinary thing to go through, John. And the people that are around you, when you see the police, the first aider from the supermarket, the ambulance people, there's so many.
Yeah, what a team. We're so lucky to be in the right place at the right time and so close to a decent, really good hospital. I'm lucky can one man be, you know, it's just fantastic.
So what's happened to you since? How are you feeling?
Oh, great. We've been on holiday since then.
Does it change your way of thinking about it?
Absolutely, yeah. We're away another 3 times.
Another 3
in
holidays?
the foreseeable future, yeah.
Not going to do much inheritance left, is there?
None at all.
None at all? You're actually going to...
No, it's all going to go.
Okay. And what have you've got something in your chest now?
Yeah, a defibrillator, which kicks in, apparently, I don't know very much about it, but it kicks in if something similar was to happen. It would give me an electric shock.
So you've got your own personal little paramedic in your chest now?
That's right.
Although the paramedic actually, or the ambulance people, are some of the people that you haven't been able to find yet, aren't they?
I haven't, no.
We have actually put out a call, so if I can get them to you by the end of the programme, we'll do that. All right? We are running out of time, I know, but we will try and do that. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Extraordinary story, John. Absolutely extraordinary. Louise?